The South Sea Bubble, the scam that bankrupted Britain. We think we know financial scandals, but one of the greatest economic disasters in history didn't happen on Wall Street or during the Great Depression. It happened in 18th-century London. A scheme so seductive, it lured in kings, poets, and paupers alike, until it exploded, wiping out fortunes and nearly bankrupting a nation. This is not just a story of greed, it's a story of how illusion, power, and ambition can twist an entire empire. And how, centuries later, that same pattern still repeats itself. Welcome to the South Sea Bubble, the scam that bankrupted Britain. The illusion of prosperity. It's the early 1700s. Britain is on the rise, an empire powered by trade, colonies, and ambition. But beneath the glitter of prosperity lies a massive problem: debt. After the costly War of the Spanish Succession, the British government owes more than £30 million, an unimaginable burden. The nation's finances are stretched thin and confidence is low. Enter John Blunt, a clever, ambitious financier with a genius for invention. Where others see ruin, Blunt sees opportunity. He proposes something revolutionary. A company that will assume a portion of the national debt in exchange for trading rights with South America, territories believed to overflow with gold, silver, and slaves. The government, desperate for solutions, agrees. And so, in 1711, the South Sea Company is born. Its promise? Exclusive trade with the rich colonies of the Spanish Empire. Its reality? A dream, because Britain was not at war with Spain. There were no ships, no trade routes, and no treasure fleets. But the illusion was irresistible. The idea of wealth from across the seas captured imaginations. Shares of the South Sea Company began to climb, slowly at first, then steadily, as the elite poured in their fortunes. A dangerous fantasy had begun to take hold. The spark that lit the fire. The South Sea Company wasn't just a business. It was a psychological masterpiece. Blunt understood the real engine of markets. Not numbers but belief. In 1719 he made a daring proposal to Parliament. The company would assume nearly all of Britain's remaining debt, in exchange for exclusive rights to convert those government bonds into company shares. It sounded patriotic, even noble, a private company helping to rescue the nation. But in truth, it was a debt-for-equity swap, designed to flood the company with new investors and drive up its stock price. Many members of Parliament, conveniently shareholders themselves, approved the plan. Even King George I joined as the company's official governor. Now Britain's destiny was tied to a single enterprise. The illusion of prosperity had become official policy. The fever spreads. By early 1720, Blunt and his associates launched what could be called the first great marketing campaign in financial history. They hosted grand banquets. They published glowing pamphlets predicting unimaginable profits. They leaked rumors of secret deals, treasure fleets, and untapped gold mines. It was propaganda on a national scale, and it worked. The company's stock price skyrocketed. £150, £300, £600, then £1,000 per share. The frenzy consumed London. Brokers' offices overflowed. Streets buzzed with speculation. Clerks, servants, widows, and even soldiers sold everything they owned to buy in. New bubble companies emerged overnight, imitating the South Sea Company's success. Some promised to drain the ocean to recover sunken treasure. One even advertised an undertaking of great advantage, but nobody to know what it is. And still people invested. It was mania. A carnival of greed, and Blunt was the ringmaster. The House of Cards. Behind the glittering facade, the South Sea Company was rotting from within. There was no real trade, no ships filled with silver, no profits beyond paper gains. Its rising value depended entirely on the belief that the price would keep going up. To fuel that belief, the company offered loans using its own inflated shares as collateral. Investors used those loans to buy even more shares, driving prices higher still. It was a self-feeding loop, a machine creating wealth from nothing but confidence. But confidence is fragile. And in the summer of 1720, the cracks began to show. Some insiders, sensing the danger, quietly started selling. Rumors spread that the South Sea trade was an illusion. When investors rushed to cash out, the entire structure began to collapse. By August 1720, the stock price plunged from £1,000 to £200 within weeks. Fortunes vanished overnight. The dream was over. The illusion shattered. The collapse of a nation's dreams. The aftermath was catastrophic. Banks failed. Merchants went bankrupt. Families were ruined. Thousands who had believed in the promise of endless wealth were left destitute. Poet Alexander Pope captured the despair in his verse. At length corruption like a general flood, so long by watchful ministers withstood, shall deluge all, and avarice creeping on, spread like a low-born mist and blot the sun. The scandal consumed the entire nation. Even members of the royal family had lost money. King George I ordered an inquiry. When investigators opened the company's books, what they found stunned the country. Bribes, insider trading, falsified accounts, and political corruption were everywhere. Parliament members had taken massive kickbacks to push the company's schemes through. John Blunt, once celebrated as a financial genius, was disgraced and imprisoned. The Chancellor of the Exchequer resigned in shame. Britain's faith in finance was destroyed. Picking up the pieces. In the wreckage, one man emerged to rebuild. Robert Walpole, a shrewd statesman who would become Britain's first true prime minister. Walpole moved quickly. He restructured the debt, compensated small investors, and restored public confidence, at least partially. His reforms introduced early elements of financial regulation and set the foundation for Britain's later economic recovery. But the damage ran deep. The stock market lay in ruins. Trust was shattered for nearly a century. And the term South Sea Bubble entered history as a symbol of financial folly, a warning about what happens when speculation replaces reality. The blueprint of modern bubbles. Here's the unsettling truth. The South Sea Bubble never really ended. It simply changed form. Every major economic crash since has followed the same pattern, from the railway mania of the 1840s to the dot-com crash of the 2000s. Step 1. Promise revolutionary change. Step 2. Inflate asset prices through hype and speculation. Step 3. Borrow and leverage until debt exceeds real value. Step 4. Watch it all collapse when reality returns. The psychology is identical. Only the technology changes. From jobbers in London coffee houses to brokers on Wall Street, the human heart remains the same. Greedy, hopeful, and convinced that this time will be different. Echoes in the 21st century. The pattern lives on. In 2008, the U.S. housing market was built on risky loans and blind optimism. When the bubble burst, $10 trillion in wealth evaporated, triggering a global recession. In 2022, cryptocurrency markets soared to over $3 trillion, driven by hype, influencers, and FOMO. Months later, billions were gone, and millions of ordinary investors were left with nothing. Just like the South Sea Bubble, the insiders cashed out early. The public was left holding the illusion. Every age believes it's immune. Every generation tells itself, this time it's different. But every time the story ends the same way, with dreams shattered and fortunes lost. The human cost. What makes bubbles truly tragic isn't the money, it's the betrayal of faith. Ordinary people invest their hopes, their savings, their futures. They believe the system is fair. They believe success is shared. But when the crash comes, they learn the truth. The system wasn't built to protect everyone, only those at the top. The South Sea Bubble wasn't an accident. It was a reflection of human nature, of greed's eternal pull, of the thin line between innovation and illusion. Lessons for the future. 3 centuries later, the lessons of 1720 still echo through every trading floor and digital exchange. Lesson 1. Beware the illusion of easy wealth. If profits sound effortless, they're probably built on sand. Lesson 2. Regulation matters. The South Sea Company grew unchecked because no one dared to stop it. When oversight fails, corruption always follows. Lesson 3. Inequality magnifies collapse. When the rich control information and the poor chase dreams, disaster hits the bottom hardest. We've learned these lessons before, and yet, somehow we keep forgetting them. The unfinished story. The South Sea Bubble should have been a warning. Instead, it became a blueprint. Every major financial empire since has borrowed from John Blunt's design, a structure built on faith, hype, and momentum. We tell ourselves we've grown wiser, that our systems are stronger. But the truth is we've only made them faster. The next bubble won't rise from the sea, it'll rise from data, algorithms, and digital markets moving at the speed of light. The illusion changes shape, but the psychology doesn't. 300 years ago, Britain learned that confidence is the most dangerous currency of all. It can build empires, and it can erase them overnight. The South Sea Bubble wasn't just a financial collapse. It was a mirror, reflecting human nature, greed, and the fragile balance between ambition and restraint. And when we look into that mirror today, we still see ourselves staring back. Closing message. So what do you think? Can humanity ever truly learn from its financial mistakes? Or are we doomed to repeat them century after century? Tell us your thoughts in the comments below. And if this story revealed something you'd never heard before, hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell. Because here on World Financial Mysteries, we're uncovering the hidden scandals that shaped the world's economy, one story at a time.